Hi, I'm Andrea and I'm a naturalist and educator at Severson Nature Center. In this video, I'll be showing you how to fill out the field data sheet for the Calling Frog Survey. This citizen science project is coordinated by the Peggy Notabar Nature Museum, and volunteers through forest preserves of Winnebago County and Severson Nature Center take part in it. If you're interested in learning more, please visit our website at seversondells.org. Alright, so let me walk you through this field data sheet as if we're out observing in the field. So first things first, we'll need to put down what route we're going on. Let's pretend like we're monitoring frogs at Deer Run. You'll also want to put down the monitors that are doing the work. So I would put down myself, and maybe my husband's out with me. These series of boxes are talking about what window you're monitoring in. The first window is in February and March and April. This is in May, this is June and July, and that information is in our handbook. It's important to note for each of these runs, there needs to be the temperature needs to be above the minimum. So we would be doing the first run, let's say, and it's important that you only monitor if the air temp is above 45 degrees. You can disregard these because we've entered all of that data already for forest preserves of Winnebago County. These columns, though, represent the different locations that you'd be monitoring at. So if you were monitoring at location number 1, all of your information would get logged in this column. Same thing for 2, 3, 4, and 5. None of our forest preserves have 6 spots. They're either 1 through 5. Great. So this section is the weather section, and this is really important to fill out for each location. So not just for Deer Run generally, but each listening point that you're visiting. So first things first, you need to put down the time. Let's say we were out at 8:30. The next thing you'll need to fill out is the sky code. And now if you don't know what this is, that is on the back side of the sheet, which I printed out separately for this video. So the sky code can range from having a few clouds being 0 to a drizzle being 5, partly cloudy 1. Most of the nights I monitor, it's either few clouds, partly cloudy, or cloudy. Pretend like our run was a sky code 1, meaning it was partly cloudy, and there's about a 30% cloud cover. Great. Next, I would need to get the air temperature, and I can find that using any app. So it says right now the air temp is 51. Let's pretend like that is what it is for our run. And you want the wind speed too, which most weather apps will provide. This app says the wind speed right now is 20 miles per hour. That's pretty windy, and we would want to try to avoid that if we can. This next section is our frog section. So each of these rows represents a different frog species. The frogs that are bolded are rare frogs, so I would strongly encourage you to get a recording of those frogs if you believe you've heard them. That could potentially be a very valuable voucher for a species that might not have been documented in Winnebago County in the past few years. So if we're out in the first run, we're likely to hear things like pickerel and chorus frog, spring peeper, northern leopard, and wood frog. Not so much plains leopard frog, that's not in this area. And that's a good thing to think about before you go out, is think of what frogs you would expect to hear and what frogs you can completely eliminate based on geographic distribution. And that information, again, is in your handbook. So what you want to put in these columns is the call index. And these range from 1 to 3. It's not that complicated. If you heard one individual, or if you heard a couple individuals but their calls weren't overlapping, you would put down a 1. So maybe you heard a spring peeper or a handful, their calls weren't overlapping, I would put a 1 in that row. A 2 is if there's some calls overlapping, but you can still distinguish individuals. So maybe we're hearing that for northern leopard frogs at the same location. A 3 is a constant chorus where it's impossible to isolate individuals. That's often what we find with chorus frogs, so I'd put 3 there. So that's the process of filling this form out, and you'd want to repeat all of this for each location. Everything else in the packet or in the field data sheet can be pretty much disregarded. Although if you do want to add comments for your location, maybe it's wet and you couldn't access it, maybe you noticed it was dry, etc., you could put that all here. This information is helpful if you're mailing this into the Peggy Notabart Nature Museum, but if you're inputting this online, you can disregard this. Great. If you have any questions about how to fill out the form or your site in particular, please reach out to us at Severson Dells. You can access me at andrea@seversondells.org. Thank you.